All right, shalom, shalom. First and foremost, I'd like to give all praise, honor, and glory unto Yahweh, Bahashem Yahushai, Bahashem HaKodash. Double honors unto the apostles and elders of Great Millstone who rule well, and salutations to you, Akim, that push the word of the Heavenly Father in spirit and in truth throughout the four corners of the globe. Coming back with another lesson. I'm the brother Hassad with Great Millstone Northwest. And in this lesson, I want to get into, our flesh being weak, which is one of the reasons why, brothers are desiring to be in the kingdom of heaven. All right, because in the kingdom of heaven, we'll, have bodies that's not subjected to, weak flesh. All right. It's pretty much an upgrade, a major upgrade, physically. All right. And who wouldn't want that? All right. Because in these bodies, man, you have ailments, you get sick, joints hurt, back problems, they just break down with time. You have the word entropy, which the definition for that is the steady rate of decay in a thing. So these bodies are heavily riddled with, entropy. So from the moment you're born till the moment you go back to the spirit world, your body is steadily breaking down. All right. So brothers want new bodies, man, and that's what was promised us, in the scriptures. And the way we receive that is, with this kingdom, all right, this eon, which belongs to Esau, this uninterrupted period of rule, all right, which is Esau's period of rule. This has to become, history as far as the past. Okay, so once this kingdom is destroyed, it's gonna be a thing of the past. All right, and the next kingdom to come is gonna be that for Israel, for the nation of Israel. So real quick, matter of fact, let me grab a preset real quick. Sirach 6 in verse hold on. So like it, bear with me. It's second Esdras. I said Sirach. Second Esdras 6 and verse 9. It says, "For Esau is the end of the world, and Jacob is the beginning of it that followeth." Okay, straight to the point. And brothers know the scripture, but for the sake of time, just getting straight to the point. Esau is the end of the world, and Jacob is the beginning of it that followeth. Okay, so when Esau is, taken out of power and Babylon the Great destroyed, the elected nation of Israel is going to be able to be upgraded. Okay. In righteousness too. All right. Spiritual righteousness. It's not going to be upgrade in pertaining to anything dealing with Esau's technology. Okay, because what do you think plastic surgery is, and Esau can even bust your shins up to make you taller. You got surgeries where Esau bust your legs up so that you can become taller, centimeters taller. All this MOTB technology, all right, allowing people that were formerly paralyzed in certain limbs to be able to maneuver and operate those limbs. All right, that's all sorcery and witchcraft and Esau's technology that brings about, those upgrades, which really are downgrades. Okay. Um, However, through the spirit and power of Yahweh Hashem Yahushua, we're going to receive righteous upgrades. All right. So, uh, Matthew 26 and verse 41, straight to the point, it says, "Watch and pray that ye enter not into temptation. The spirit indeed is willing, but the flesh is weak." All right. Now, Yahushua was stating this because, matter of fact, I'll just read for context purposes. Verse 40, it says, "And he cometh unto the disciples, and findeth them asleep, and saith unto Peter, What, could ye not watch with me 1 hour?" So this was pertaining to the reason why Yahushua made that statement was pertaining to, him finding the disciples sleep. All right. And this was, pretty much during the right before he was apprehended by the wicked high priest and turned over. Eventually, he would be turned over to the Romans, but he was first apprehended by his own nation or his own people. But the point still stands that the flesh is willing. I mean, excuse me, the spirit is willing, but the flesh is weak. Okay, because you can believe that the disciples really wanted to actually be on guard and on watch for Yahweh Shai. However, that flesh being so weak, they weren't able to. They dozing off, falling asleep. And brothers that's been in the military understand when you they got something called a CQ duty, which stands for charge of quarters. So like if you live in a barracks, every once in a while you have to be the person on desk duty, so to say, which they set you up pretty much in a position in the barracks, sitting at the desk to where you have a view down both hallways. So they pretty much form a V. All right, so they have you at the base of the V where the desk is, to where you can see down the hallway to the left and the hallway to the right. And you pretty much for 24 hours have to stand guard. Pretty much. Well, you can sit and all that, but you're in charge. You know what I'm saying? And you have to be vigilant. You have to know who's if somebody brings guests in the barracks, they got to be out of the barracks by a certain time, so on and so forth. But it's 24 hours that you have to be up. And, they go through training in the military, dealing with sleep deprivation, which, prepares you for being able to, do that once you actually get to your duty station and whatnot. So pretty much, you can have it in your mind that, yeah, man, for the 24 hours I'm be up, I ain't gonna doze off, I ain't gonna be sleepy or nothing. And then, after a certain amount of time, you start dozing off, and you wake yourself, you'll find yourself, you be curved out for a cool little second, and then snap to and like, oh snap, I was asleep, or somebody unexpectedly walks in, and finds you sleeping, so that wasn't your intent, but your flesh is weak. Your spirit was willing, but your flesh is weak. Okay, so in regards to various things, while walking in this truth, here in Babylon, Our flesh is just weak, okay, to where we fail. All right, you fail. You're gonna have some mishaps. You're gonna fumble the rock. You know what I'm saying? You're gonna drop the ball. All right, and it's simply because of the flesh. Okay, your spirit is willing and more than ready and eager to actually perform and do certain things, but your flesh, is a burden. It's a hindrance. Okay, which is why we need to be upgraded. All right, so next precept. This is Romans 7:14. It says the conflict of two natures. All right. It says, for we know that that the law is spiritual, but I am carnal, sold under sin. So I'm gonna read each verse in the KJV and then immediately go over to the NLT. It says, so we know that the law is spiritual, but I am carnal, sold under sin. NLT, it says, so the trouble is not with the law, for it is spiritual and good. The trouble is with me, for I am all too human, a slave to sin. And the scriptures tell you in Romans 8, I believe, that the creature was made subject to vanity. So this flesh, the Most High, he's far out. He's something else because he deliberately put us in these bodies that are subject to sin. Okay, only to punish us. All right, for sin, which was intended and is intended to serve as a lesson, pretty much edification, to build us up to being superhuman, to being extraterrestrials, which if you ask me, it's well worth it, man. To be subject to going off, all right, subject to vanity because of this flesh and get chastised and judged, over the years, more than any nation. All right, the nation of Israel, that is, more than any nation, we've been, judged and chastised because of the sinful flesh initially. But we're going through that because the Lord is going to make us immortal. All right, not subject to death. So if you ask me, it's well worth it, man. It's well worth it. It says, verse 15 is in the KJV. It says, "For that which I do, I allow not. For what I would, that do I not. But what I hate, that do I." All right, NLT, it says, "I don't really understand myself, for I want to do what is right, but I don't do it. Instead, I do what I hate." All right, self-explanatory. If then I do that which I would not, I consent unto the law that it is good. NLT, it says, "But if I know that what I am doing is wrong, this shows that I agree that the law is good." Okay, in which the law is good. All right, the law is perfect, but it's the sinful flesh that's imperfect. All right, verse 17, KJV, it says, "Now then, it is no more I that do it, but sin that dwelleth in me." Verse 17, KJV, NLT, excuse me. It says, "So I am not the one doing wrong. It is sin living in me that does it." Okay, so the same way a creature, an animal is, carnal by nature, a beast, and they, do beastly things, um, by nature. Just a dog will be drooling, a drool all on itself. You know what I'm saying? Like that's within them to do that. All right. So being human it's only natural that we sin, all right, despite the fact that we're not supposed to sin, okay? But it's the sinful flesh which causes us to sin, all right? That's why the flesh, flesh in Spanish is called carne, all right? And it rhymes or goes with carnal, you know, fleshly, carnal. Okay, that's what these bodies are. They're fleshly and they're carnal. All right, which is why we need to be upgraded. All right, verse 18, KJV, it says, "For I know that in me, that is, in my flesh, dwelleth no good thing. For to will is present with me, but how to perform that which is good I find not." All right, NLT, it says, "And I know that nothing good lives in me, that is, in my sinful nature. I want to do what is right, but I can't." It says, "For the good that I would, I do not, but the evil which I would not, that I do." All right, NLT, "I want to do what is good, but I don't. I don't want to do what is wrong, but I do it anyway." All right, KJV, verse 20 says, "Now, if I do that I would not, it is no more I that do it, but sin that dwelleth in me." It says, verse 21, I'm going to just read down in the KJV. It says, "I find then a law that when I would do good, evil is present with me. For I delight in the law of the Most High after the inward man. But I see another law in my members, warring against the law of my mind, and bringing me into captivity to the law of sin which is in my members. O wretched man that I am, who shall deliver me from the body of this death?" Okay. I thank the Most High through Yahweh Shai Mashiach our Lord. So then, with the mind, I myself serve the law of the Most High, but with the flesh, the law of sin. Okay, so that's why it's so important for your mind to be in tune with the spirit and power of Yahweh Hashem Yahweh Shai, because this flesh is really incapable of doing that. Okay, because the law deals a lot with fleshly acts. You know, doing this, doing that, refraining from this, refraining from that. You can eat this, you can't do that, you can't eat that. Those are like fleshly things that your flesh is involved in. Okay. However, adhering to Yahweh Bashem Yahweh Shai, all right, via the gospel that Yahweh Shai put down, you learn to become reborn in the mind. All right. You learn how to renew the mind. Okay. Let me see. First Peter 2:2, it says, "As newborn babes desire the sincere milk of the word, that you may grow thereby." Okay. So like there's another precept I want to grab. This is a 2 Peter 3:1. It says, "This second epistle, beloved, I now write unto you, in both which I stir up your pure minds by way of remembrance." Okay. So our minds are supposed to be pure, which is why, um, receiving salvation via accepting, believing, and confessing Yahweh Bashim Yahweh Shai, that deals with your mind, okay, your spirit, the elect, all right, because the elect, according to Ezekiel, is gonna have that ta'awah, all right, that exemption from judgment, which is gonna be in the spirit, in the mind, in the lob, all right, not in the flesh. And lastly, this is 2 Corinthians 5 and verse 1. It says, For we know that if our earthly house of this tabernacle were dissolved, we have a building of the Most High, and house not made with hands, eternal in the heavens. For in this we groan, earnestly desiring to be clothed upon with our house, which is from heaven. If so be that being clothed we shall not be found naked. All right. For we that are in this tabernacle do groan, being burdened. All right. So this flesh is a burden. Not for that we would be unclothed, but clothed upon, that mortality might be swallowed up of life. Okay. So, we wish to put on the new clothing, the heavenly clothing, so that this flesh, which is mortal, all right, is subject to death, can be swallowed up of life, aka eternity, all right, immortality. So I'm gonna read this in the NLT and then get up out of here. This is verse 1, 2 Corinthians 5 and 1 in the NLT. It says, For we know that when this earthly tent we live in is taken down, that is, when we die and leave this earthly body, we will have a house in heaven, an eternal body made for us by the Most High Himself, and not by human hands. We grow weary in our present bodies, and we long to put on our heavenly bodies like new clothing. For we will put on heavenly bodies. We will not be spirits without bodies. All right. So all that, you go to heaven and you floating around, butt naked baby angels floating around. That's all BS. Okay. It says we will not be spirits without bodies. Okay. While we live in these earthly bodies, we groan and sigh. Okay. You stub your foot, you gonna sigh. You know what I'm saying? Fucking your alarm goes off. You gotta hit the fucking, hit the button to cut the alarm off. You sigh like, man, I don't want to go to work. You know, and that's all part of being in this earthly body. All right, we groan and sigh, but it's not that we want to die and get rid of these bodies that clothe us. All right, it's not like you want to off yourself and just to, uh, receive that new body. All right. Um, Let me see. We simply want to be delivered. You know. Let me find this precept. Here we go. Ephesians 5:29. It says, "For no man ever hated his own flesh, but nourisheth and cherisheth it, even as the Lord the church." Okay. So your this is going into as it says in verse 28. So ought men to love their wives as their own bodies. He that loveth his wife loveth himself. Okay, so that's going into marriage, and it serves the purpose to further drive the point in that no man ever hated his own flesh. Okay, that's retarded. No man has ever hated his own flesh. Okay, but you nourish and you take care of it. Say for instance you got a rash or something, you gonna nourish and take care of it. Okay, if you whatever might happen in the flesh, you're gonna find a way to take care of it. Okay. So I read that for the point of in verse 4 in the 2 Corinthians 5 verse 4 in the NLT, down here it says, but it is not that we want to die and get rid of these bodies that clothe us. Rather, we want to put on our new bodies so that these dying bodies will be swallowed up with life. Okay, so we want to put on the new bodies, the spiritual bodies, or the not spiritual bodies, so like the extraterrestrial bodies. All right, the superhuman bodies. Okay, that the Lord has prepared for us. All right, so Abarazazah, this was edifying. Till next time, I say shalom.